Morning, everyone. My name is Damian Williams, and I'm the U.S. Attorney here in the Southern District of New York. Today, I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice.
Yo, welcome back to the channel. If you already don't know by now, Sean P. Diddy, Daddy, Puff Daddy, aka Diddy, Diddy, P. Diddy, Daddy Love, whatever he go by, whatever you know him by, he has been arrested for multiple charges: racketeering, trafficking, RICO, you name it, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, all that stuff he's been arrested for. I have the indictment on hand. I read through the whole thing, so you don't have to, so we're going to break it down. This is not going to be the most entertaining video unless you are nosy like me. All right, so let's get right into it. So on page 1, right off the rip, you can see here, United States of America versus Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD, and Love. That's a lot of names. All right, you should have known when he got to the Love. Once he got to the Love, we should have known it's a wrap, right? We was going to be in trouble with him. All right, so count 1 on here, it's racketeering. Count 1 is it basically wraps it up. I'll read the first verse because then it starts to repeat itself, all right? For decades, Sean Combs, the defendant, abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct, all right? Then it goes on to the second part of the racketeering part to let you know why it's considered racketeering. All right, the defendant operated his business headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global. All right. Basically, amongst those businesses, it was a record label, a recording studio, apparel line, alcoholic spirit business. We know that's Ciroc. All right, a marketing agency and a televised network media company, Revolt. They're not going to say it, but we all know what it is. All right, and now this is where, once again, the racketeering part comes in. At all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs, the defendant, engaged in a persistent and persuasive pattern of abuse towards women and other individuals. And this abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in a highly orchestrated performance of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. Let me read that again. At all times relevant to the indictment of Sean Combs, aka blah blah blah, the defendant engaged and persistent and persuasive pattern of abuse towards women and other individuals. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activities with male commercial sex workers. At times, Combs and others acting in his direction, RICO, all right, made arrangements for women and commercial sex workers to fly Combs' location, trafficking. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation and violence. Now, they go on to repeat this over and over again. They basically say it started from at least 2009, all right? And it talks about the Cassie case. I can read a short one here. March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman where she was attempted to leave. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence. We all know that's the Cassie case. He's already settled that, $30 million. I'm wondering how this is going to work in court. Will the judge allow this evidence in court, the whole Cassie case, which they're going to make an example out of P. Diddy. They're definitely going to allow it. So now in paragraph 6, they get to the point to tell you that the Combs Enterprise was the business that they did all these illegal activities from. All right. It'll tell you from 2008, at least that's what they know. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, human trafficking, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. All right. And it just goes on to tell you about Combs Enterprises, how it relates to Bad Boy, but it pretty much lets you know that everyone was involved. Like paragraph 10, it tells you Sean Combs and others known to unknown participated in unlawful and other activities related to the conduct of the Combs affairs. They already know about this, all right? Security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors, as well as others close to the associates of Combs. So they basically just repeat themselves over and over again. I should have brought me some water because this is, reading a whole, I'm new to this. And then they start the purpose of Combs Enterprises, right? They'll pretty much tell you it was operating a global business in the media, and then it starts talking about how this business entity alone was just to preserve, protect, promote it, and enhance its power and reputation. That's it. That's all Combs Enterprise was. It's all the financing for all his dirty stuff that he was doing. That's what they're trying to say in this deposition or indictment. So then we get into page 5. It continues the purpose of Combs Enterprises. You know, it says it again: preserving, protecting, and promoting, and enhancing the power of Combs Enterprise, including the power of his leader, Combs, through violence, use of firearm, threats of violence, coercion, that word is kicking my butt, and verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. All right. It was also to fulfill his personal desire of Combs. It enabled Combs and others members of associates of the Combs Enterprise to engage in unlawful acts of violence, including sexual violence, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, dang, that kicked my butt again, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotic distribution, and other crimes, and concealing the commission of such acts. This was basically a company racketeering. They built a company and they did all their dirty work through it. He was not playing when he said Diddy dirty money. All right. He was definitely, man, this is going to be a tough job for his lawyer. All right. We're going to end this first part here because the video is getting kind of long. We're going to start the next video tomorrow, part 2. All right, part 2. We're going to start at the end of page 5, which gets to the means and methods. The means and methods, that's the good stuff. This is when they're going to tell us what they found, how he did it, what was the purpose. Hopefully we get to see some names. I don't know. I highly doubt it because if they're going for a RICO charge, more than likely they're just going to say co-workers or associates just so they can probably work a deal out with these people to testify against Diddy. If you're still here with me, hit a like, hit the subscribe. I will hit you with a part 2 tomorrow. All right, I'll see you next video.